So, initially, I was gonna make a long post, but I figured I would record this. You always have a way of somehow finding access to my Facebook, something that 9-10 months ago I really recognized and was just genuinely disturbed by. After yesterday, which was Easter, really before Easter, I had really been grieving, actually getting down to grieving the loss of this relationship that I really saw an immense amount of potential in, that I was dedicated to, that meant a lot to me. And after 9 months of being 9 months of being separated from this person, while carrying their child, your grandchild, it really finally hit me. Because for the most part, this past 9 months, I've just been angry. I've been distraught. The day that I gave birth to my daughter, I invited her father to be there, somebody who when I left them 9 months ago, participated I don't know if they initiated, but they definitely were an active part of really tearing me down in a way that I had never, you know what, let me not say, it's not like I've never experienced it before. I've experienced lots of different forms of anguish before. So this wasn't new, but it was definitely really it was really heartbreaking to experience. Because I really love this person, and to have them just like drag me um, through just what felt like hell. Like every day since July 17th has just felt like nonstop punishment. And it's it wasn't warranted. Like for and for nothing really, for something that this individual could have just separated themselves from. Like nobody asked you to be stalking my Facebook like it was your job, when you're a grown woman and you have things that you could have been doing besides checking what I'm posting and wondering or making it about yourself. And this really goes for your immediate family, anybody in your immediate family. It wasn't just you, but it was primarily you. And you would discuss these things with my my partner at the time, my fiance at the time, who would just come back and tell me about all of these complaints that you had, despite the fact that you were blocked on my Facebook. And I really wish you could just take accountability for the fact that as a grown woman, being blocked off of something, you could have just continued to go about your day and mind your business. You could have just been like, oh, well, who cares what this girl is posting? Because at the end of the day, like, nobody knows who you are. Like, even this video now, like, nobody knows who you are. Almost every video I've made or post has up to that point, it never included your names. So to be so upset over something that ultimately you could have ignored. Oh, this girl is just throwing subliminals. That's what it is. It's subs. I'm throwing subs at you on Facebook because, truth be told, like, the things that I'm posting about really had validity to them. I think of one of my favorite posts that you were upset about. How if I ask for a babysitter, or if I ask somebody to watch one of my children, I shouldn't have to go into a whole spiel about why I need them to watch the child. You know, either you're gonna do it or you're not. And sometimes I just feel tempted to tell the person who's asking me why I need a babysitter is because I just want to go and participate in fellatio. I just want to go slop on my fiance's knob. Like, that's it. I just want to go suck a dick. You good with that? Like, not everybody engages in the same, like, type of humor, but at the same time, it's just like, to be so pissed off about that. What will people think? I don't care. I don't care that people are going to think, oh, this girl is like out of pocket. You want to know why? Because if I were to be honest with you about what I want to do when you're watching my child, you might be upset sometimes. Sometimes I want to just take a nap. Sometimes I want to go shopping. Sometimes I want to suck a dick. That's just the reality of the situation. But to get really down to business, for 9 months since I left, my ex-fiance, your son. Like, this video is really for you. So I'm going to call you by the nickname that you want everybody else to call you by, or at least the children call you by it, and that's Baba. And I'll explain why I want to use that name later on. But Baba, 9 months ago, when I wanted to separate from my fiance at the time, you just had no place in being active in our problems. What me and my fiance, what me and your son were going through, you did not need to meddle in that, engage in that at all. There was no reason for it. The day that me and him had our argument and the troopers were called, you didn't need to be involved in that. And I knew the moment that you pulled up, the moment that after the troopers pulled up, you pulled up, I was more afraid of you than those troopers, because I am familiar with a bit of the law. I had told your son when he called those troopers, I said, this is exactly what I'm going to tell them. You weren't even there, so you don't know what happened. You just don't. But I had discussed with your son what I was going to say when those troopers came. What was going to probably happen when the troopers came. Because as somebody, unfortunately, who has gone through various forms of domestic violence, mental, physical, financial, I comprehended what most law enforcement want to do when they pull up to a domestic situation. They either want to arrest somebody, cite somebody, or tell y'all to go and get some damn help and to leave them alone. Leave them out of the situation. I'll never forget that day, because the troopers kept coming back and forth between the two of you and me sitting in the car with my children. Do you smoke weed? You don't technically live here. Can't you go and stay at your mother's house? Telling me that I needed to leave by the end of the night. Basically, a house that I was living in, and I'm glad that my family really drilled into me before I even moved into that house. My family really drilled into me, that's not your house. That's not your house. That's not your house. That is their house. That's their son's house. That is their house. Don't forget it. That's not your house. The troopers told me I need to get my things and to leave. A house that, even though it's not mine, I spent all this time decorating, bringing life into it, making it a home. And I gotta make sure that I'm out of there by that evening. I left, and I did what I thought I was supposed to. Before I even left, I tried to talk to my fiance. Sure, I might have told him that, our engagement is off. But how many times do people tell someone, I'm going to leave, I'm gonna divorce you? How many times did you tell your husband you were going to divorce him? I'm not going to get into the amount of times you've told me about how you were going to leave him. I say this once. And it's like everything just shifted so heavily. I can't believe it sometimes. But after the troopers left, I tried to talk to him. No, I don't want to talk to you. I think you should leave. I only want to talk about the kids. It was just wild. But the only reason why I mention this is to provide context for what would happen next. I left to go to my aunt's house. That very morning, the next morning, he's texting me about our daughter. Can I have her for the morning? I said I left. I said I would be back in August. Mind you, this is now it's July 18th, if I'm not mistaken. He texted me about our daughter. I text him back saying that I left. I'll be back in August to collect my things, and we're going to be discussing shared custody. I want you to, I'll attach, if I need to go and make a separate post to attach those screenshots, I will, because I want you to see them. You did see them because y'all were together. I know that. From the moment I left him the moment the troopers were called on July 17th, y'all been together that entire time. Except, let me backtrack really fast, because this is also when I knew I really had to leave that house. When the troopers left, I left to go try to do something. I saw you driving to the house, and I doubled back around because I knew you were up to something. I get to the home and watch you go into the warehouse with the camera. Oh my God. Like, the fact that y'all really think I'm brain dead or something is just beyond me. It is so beyond me, Baba. You go in to go install a camera to capture I don't know what. Me smoking? Me on the phone? But I know my rights, which is why when I found the camera and I spoke directly to it, letting you know that I know my rights and you cannot record me in a place that I have an expectation of privacy. Disabled the camera and then put it by the fireplace, like, but when I found that camera, I knew. I was like, yo, something bad. I just had this feeling that I wanted to dread. When I saw you take that camera in there, dread. You know, you messaged me the day before or something like that about mental health. Can you stop being nasty on Facebook? My mental health matters too. You didn't need to be on my Facebook. You care so much about your mental health. You would not have been stalking my Facebook despite the fact that you were blocked. And if it wasn't you, then somebody else that you were affiliated with was sharing this information with you about my Facebook. And for real, as a grown woman, you could have told them, I don't care what she posts. I don't care about that. And you could have just let me live my life. I had did all the talking to you. You're telling me you want to save your family. I want to save my family, which was your son, my daughter, my son. I had already had to go and do all that. It's been decades and you're still trying to save a I can't even get into that. I don't even know what you're saving. But I can't get into that. I just can't. Because you and I both know all the type of stuff that you've told me. In fact, I made a 3-hour long video about it. Moving on. But let me just say that I wanted to save my family. When your children, and this is just in general for whoever's going to watch this, but when you have children and they move on, they get in a relationship, they have a child with somebody, they're engaged or they're married, whatever, they've got a new family, and that family, that's a priority. They've moved on, they've grown up, they've flown from the nest, and you should allow them to go focus and be a part of whatever. You need to go and let them go. But instead, you are just so hyper-focused on your son in a way that's really just hindering his ability to be an adult. You don't need to meddle in every aspect of his life. His job, his relationships. You have an opinion on every single aspect of his life. His friends, everybody he's dated, including me. How he works and interacts with his everything. You are grown. You have your own life. Or at least you're supposed to. He was 29 at the time. You didn't have a quilt to finish. You didn't have better things to do than hyper focus on me and my relationship with your son. That's toxic. It's unnecessary. He's supposed to be a grown man with a child. I gotta move on from that. But You trying to live his life for him makes no sense. It don't compute. I don't know. Oh my God. So anyway, it's established that when I do leave, I intend to have shared custody with him. I intend to go back. I just wanted some space because you talk about your mental health. I'm having a mental health breakdown crisis as well. Like, I'm lashing out on Facebook about all this absurdity. It never crossed your mind. In fact, your friend, what should we call her now to protect her identity as well? Casey. Your friend Casey had even messaged me that night or whatever about a post that I had made and asked me to take it down. I told her that I'm really like struggling and I'm in the middle of just having like a mental breakdown. Y'all are so close. Y'all are best friends. I'm surprised she didn't tell you that and be like, yo, like maybe you might want to leave that girl alone. Maybe you should leave her and your son alone and let them figure out what's going on for themselves. In fact, maybe you should offer to go over there and take the children for a while so that they can figure out what's going on, because clearly this girl is having a breakdown. I was genuinely like, yo, I just remember talking to your son. I just remember being so upset. I could not. I could not fathom how every time I turn around, I'm getting this stupid situation with your son-in-law. Like, ooh, that he's not even in my relationship. He's not even supposed to be on my radar like that. Having that being hung over my head. Having my Facebook being hung over my head. You are blocked. You are blocked. You are blocked. You are blocked. And if anybody else was so upset about the post, you know what they could have done? They could have unfriended me and they could have blocked me. That's what being grown is. You don't like the content? You could just skip. No. That was just not an option for y'all. Blocking you took away the option for you, and then at that point I would have been like, well, if she blocked me, there must be a reason for it, so I'm just gonna go mind my business and make a quilt. That's what I'm gonna go do. I begged your son, please, I can't do it. I can't do it. Your parents make me want to kill myself. You make me want to kill myself. Because there was nothing I could do after this stupid situation with your son-in-law to get you off of my back. Everything I did was under a microscope with you. You were looking and waiting for a reason, any reason, to really like bring down a fucking hammer on me. And yo, when you fucking brought the hammer, you brought fucking hellfire. I've had so many nightmares about you. When I left, I left, I just thought, I'm gonna get a break. I'm gonna have time. You told me if I was so scared of your husband, I should take my children and leave. I was right. I was right when I corrected you and I said, you're scary too. My mom told me. I'm not even close with her like that. My mom told me. She said, don't go. Don't move into that house. She told me, you were the person that I should be worried about. You had the nerve. Chardonnay, you told me you were a nice person. That can't be true. Yesterday, when you got to sit in this living room, when you got to hold this child that for 9 months you guys couldn't have gave a fuck less about. All the court. If I would have killed myself, she wouldn't be here. Over Facebook. That's why I post this for you. This was so deep for you that for 9 months it was okay. You're not nice. I was hurt because I didn't understand. I look at these messages that I have with your son. I look at your son after I had my baby, handed our baby to him to hold. And knowing, despite what everybody told me, fuck him, fuck them, don't you keep that baby. My mom told me, when I told her I was pregnant, she said, you keep that, you don't tell them. You don't tell them. Everything they're doing to you, you don't tell them about that baby. You just have that baby. You take care of her. Hell, you might have to let go of your other daughter and you just have this one. But I know. First off, I'm my own person. How about that? If I were to just sit there and allow other people to meddle in my affairs and make decisions for me, I would be your son. I made the choice. I knew. I knew that children aren't toys, that children aren't pawns. The way you treated my first daughter, she was a pawn. Custody court was a fucking joke. I really want you to comprehend. Go ask your daughter if she hasn't deleted our text messages. I don't delete anything. You stood there on the stand with that bracelet. My family got me this. I have a charm for alpha on here. No, let me tell you something. That Mother's Day gift was my idea. I put the energy and time behind it. Gave your daughter a million options for what to choose and this and that. That they didn't think about that. They did not think about that. That was me. You sat on that stand talking about these headphones. Like your son doesn't watch League of Legends all day, every day, whenever he was with the kids. But you don't know that. Because you weren't there. Got the nerve. Yeah, I would see her, but she would just be breastfeeding. I breastfed my children. I ran around that house like a fucking chicken with my head cut off. Cleaning, cooking, outside trying to garden, all kinds of stuff. That was me out there all the time. Are you crazy? No, you're not crazy. You're not nice. That's what you are. You are not nice. Got the nerve. I would never. You're a mother. And you would, for 9 months, do everything and anything under the sun to try to make sure I had as limited access to my daughter. Yo, you would collude and conversate and gossip with my son's father, a man that you know was physically and mentally abusive towards me, wrapped his hands around my throat and tried to choke me out while my son was sleeping downstairs and our friends were in the other room. Not our friends, my friends were in the other room. You don't know, but you do know. So that's what literally disturbs me. What type of person? I would never. All of this over Facebook? Never. You were blocked, Baba. You were blocked. You are grown. You made the active decision to expose yourself to something that you didn't need to. Only subs at that point in time. Only subs. Before the 3-hour-long video, filing for a PFA for sole custody? So while I'm in the middle of a mental breakdown, instead of potentially doing what I would imagine I would tell my own child, I would say, you have a child with that woman. You know where she's at. She's at her aunt's house. You need to go there. Go drive down to Conshohocken. Go see about your daughter. Go see about this woman. Because clearly she's fallen apart. But no, it's all about you. All of y'all are, but this is about you. You are so absurdly selfish that all you can comprehend and consider are your feelings. I had been considering your feelings the entire time I was staying in that house, feeling horrible and guilty for stealing from y'all. Y'all, we've been through this, so this ain't even no shock, no surprise. I talk shit about myself on Facebook. I expose my own ass on Facebook. What's more embarrassing? You being a tyrant or me being a thief? Like, let's just dwell on it. Imagine of all I don't even know how many friends I have on Facebook, but just imagine all of them that had decided to watch any of my videos, any of my lives. Damn, she's a thief? Wow. Better make sure hey. Why would she share that on Facebook? Because you know what? I was tired of being ashamed of something that really, at the end of the day, is connected to a problem. Something that you knew. Which is why on that list of things that you required me to do, one of them was therapy. I was already into that though. Why? Because I have the ability to be self-aware enough to recognize, hey, I'm participating in something that's actively hurting me. I should probably get help. No. Instead of grace and space, I'm tired of giving you passes. Passes over something that you did not need to be, like, just why? I don't understand that. I don't like the conservative agenda in our country, so I don't go and follow conservative pundits. I don't go and watch Steven Crowder every day because you know what? I don't like it. So I'm going to skip on past it. You don't like my Facebook, you could have skipped on past it. Or perhaps you could have reflected and been like, well, hey, I wonder why she would make this post. Let me think about it. Oh. Well, now that I potentially have sat down and dwelled on it and put myself in somebody else's shoes, perhaps I can comprehend why she's upset about this. No. You want to have a talk, but we have been talking. No, I didn't care about you and the extended family. I cared about your son and my children and trying to figure that out. 9 months. Civil court, criminal court, being homeless, bouncing around in shelters, being cut off of cards, returning a vehicle that was supposed to be a gift, having my clothes packed up and boxed up, and I know you participated in that. Y'all packed up my stuff so quick. Receiving boxes of my stuff either broken, my clothes moldy. Having to sit here and read all of these court documents with blatant lies. Blatant. I remember being kicked out of the house that I was staying with the lady at. Because she said she didn't want to be involved in any court stuff. You know, whatever. It's her house, so she can kick me out. But, you know, I'm a few months pregnant and I'm just walking up this stretch of highway. and just semi. It's nighttime. Dragging these heavy bags. And I was talking to Nugget. That's what I call her, Nugget. I'm talking to Nugget's future godfather. And I'm just telling him I'm so tired. I wanted to rip my hair out. I wanted to, I just wanted to jump in front of one of these trucks. Because this was right after I go to court and the PFA is dropped. But my lawyer told me, he said, I looked up to make sure they weren't pressing charges against you for the car. And he said, they're pressing charges against you for that money. Something that on that list you said that you wouldn't do. It would only happen the next time. It just felt like it was never ending. The PFA shit had been dragging. I had to spend almost $200 to catch an Uber up there. I had to... There was just so much going on. And I just wanted it to stop. Every time I would feel hopeful, y'all would do some other nonsensical fucking bullshit. Because what I realized when I was around y'all is nothing really moves without you. No money gets loaned without you. No, none of this it's you. It's everything has to go past and through Baba. Like, god damn. Shout out to my daughter's godfather. Thank you, because so many times I couldn't stand it. What's the point of all this? After all of this, after all of this, if it wasn't for this program that I'm a part of, if it wasn't for the women, if it wasn't for the people who told me about resentment, and let me tell you, do you know what resentment is? Because I love a definition. Resentment is the bitter indignation at having been treated unfairly. Y'all treated me so unfairly. It just wasn't right. I would say, how? That's how I felt last night when I started really just grieving this, because I knew. I knew when I had this baby, before I even had the baby, I knew at some point at the beginning, but the closer it came down, I would have to recognize each and every time, just like in custody, when we finally had our hearing, you gotta be the bigger person. I would want to, oh my God. Sometimes I'd be on the ground. I just want to scream. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. But every time I was like, maybe I could go and do this and that'll get them. I knew deep down that I would have to do the right thing. Be the bigger person. Because if you just constantly try to answer back with an attack, it's just gonna fuel these fucks even more to go and try to do some extra shit against you. Show them mercy. Do you know what that is? A definition. Mercy. Compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm. I could harm y'all. I could have never said anything about this baby. I could have just lied and been like, yep, hey, fuck it. When I was gone for 9 months, I cheated. I cheated as soon as I left. But I know better. I've done fucked up stuff in my past, but I know better. That's also why when I do fucked up shit, it fucking sits with me forever, and I'm just tormenting myself because I know better. I know better. Chardonnay, you know better. That's called having a conscience. And when you know better, you do better. Or you try to do better. After everything. After feeling like I lost somebody I love so much. Having to watch that person. Watch you, him, whoever else was along with y'all in this crusade, try to rip me apart over shit that y'all didn't even need to be exposed to, over rude. Oh my God. That alone. Because it wasn't about the money. It was about my audacity. How dare this girl that we've allowed to live in this house, that our son has leased a vehicle for, how dare this bitch have the fucking nerve? She wants to leave you? Show her. I'm going to give you a lesson you'll never forget. I'll never forget. But I won't be like you. You're bitter. You don't, whatever resentment you harbor that had started decades ago, you still cling to them. I can't be you. I cannot hold on to negativity anger. I can't. No. No. Not going to be you making side. I'm not going to be you. When somebody offers an ear, the only thing that I have to say to them, or the only thing I have to offer, is to spew negativity and sorrow and victimhood. I won't. And my children won't be like that either. There's no fucking way at all. Never. I can already tell the way that you talk sideways about your husband and harbor those resentments. I know you'll do the same thing about me towards my children. You allow your resentments to spill over into your active life when you're with your other grandchildren. I don't expect any better for myself when it comes to my children, because that's the type of person you've shown me to be. But yesterday, Easter Sunday, I showed you the type of person that I am. I still have to face court with your son next week, and then with you and your husband the following week. Y'all were in the area. The plan was just for your son to stop by with our daughter to see her sister and for him to see his other child. Look at how the universe and God works. You just so happen to be his ride. I had said I was going to take a walk while he spent some time with the kids. He asks, and let me tell you, the audacity. But that's who y'all are. Y'all would go and do some... After these 9 months of how you guys have treated me, the nerve to just act or want to act like nothing has happened because there's a new child is beyond me. It's beyond me. Bigger person, you go be the bigger person. When he asked if you could come into this, where I'm at right now, you was probably sitting here for a second, so that you can meet your other grandchild. Yo. You are lucky that I authentically believe and comprehend that there are multiple sides to people. That I authentically believe that despite all of the feelings that if I judge you the way that you've judged me, if I treat you the way that you've treated me, I'm no better than you. I'm better. Fuck whatever thoughts you got, I'm better. I know because I allowed you to come in here. I allowed you to hold your grandchild. I allowed him to come and see me in the hospital during a time where I should just be at peace and be happy and celebrating the life of my child. I'm over here looking at somebody who has done nothing but make moves to try to hurt me for the past 9 months, who was laughing at me 2 weeks ago or so. Ha ha, you're unhinged. Gaslighting me. But I'm like, let me tell, strength. I better take it to the chin because my children matter more. That's mercy. That's me being selfless and recognizing that my children don't need to really be in the middle of this. So yeah, when she takes her first few breaths, when she's enjoying her first few hours on earth, he should be a part of that. Better. Don't let your money, don't let your friends, don't even let yourself convince yourself that I am somehow a worse person than you are. All I did, you say you forgive me for that big thing I did towards you. Cool. But it was all the other stuff. You never treated me the same. There was no, you said you would do the same you would behave the same way for me that you did for other people in your family. Negative, wrong. That was a lie. But I've known that. You was not my family. You are not what your freaking brother-in-law imagined you to be, this forgiving, like, entity and all of that. She's so great. You can put trust into her. All of that. No, that's not you. I thought you were this different person. I had so much sympathy for you because when I met you, it was just like you just constantly talking about all the perils and problems that you've dealt with. Poor you, Baba. Poor Baba. Everybody in the world is against you. I could really be against you. I could really be an asshole. And I could really just show you and treat you the same way that you've been treating me these 9 months. That you and your family have been treating me these 9 months. But I won't. 'Cause I'm better. I titled this Baba Yaga because, the John Wick 4 has just come out. I'm watching retrospectives and reviews about it. The Boogeyman. And that's how I feel about you. I was like, this woman is a boogeyman. You've infiltrated my nightmares. You have been what has felt like a nightmare to me. Remember that line, that line that haunted me for the longest after you first said it. It feels like a death in our family. What you've done to me, what you've done to us, Chardonnay, by stealing this money. It feels like a death, Baba, that somebody I loved so much, not you, your son, would turn around and actively participate in just tearing me apart for 9 months through the court system. That somebody I was with for 2 years, after I literally all I did was leave. You told me to leave. All I did was leave. And I'm getting hit. with so much stuff. You already knew the type of family that I came from, so you would comprehend that I'm about to face some difficulties with y'all dragging me through court. Who would have imagined I would never, if my son has a child with somebody, and that person, they have a child together, and they separate, and she's on the streets, never. We're not the same. Never. That's just you. You can't make sense out of nonsense. You cannot make sense out of nonsense. I had to learn that too. Because what I want to ask is, how could you, as a grown woman, how can you just sit by and be like, yeah, she's on the street, she deserves that? Over Facebook posts? Over a video? Over somebody clearly struggling. I was struggling. That 3-hour long video that y'all are so mad about didn't make it until y'all started filing all this shit in court. Madness. I would never allow my son to do that. But so much of what has been done to me these past 9 months has been because you've been mad. You were upset over Facebook. Ridiculous. Insidious. That's what I told your son when we were sitting by the fireplace, and I told him, I was like, please, yo, can't have this woman involved in our relationship. She's insidious. Definition. Proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. That's you on our relationship. It was gradual at the beginning. You being in my old apartment, making comments about certain decor that I had. You are so judgmental. You're upset about a mug. You're upset about me spending $300 on headphones, but your son can spend thousands on vehicles. Huh? You spend $300 on headphones. Why aren't you, what money are you putting towards getting a lawyer for your son? And I didn't take that money from y'all to go get myself a lawyer for my son. When y'all saw my bank statements that I had to give to y'all, just to also outline that I just am a kleptomaniac, like, sorry about that. But at one point in time, I had like 10 grand in one of my accounts. Money from working, money from unemployment. Everybody was balling during that pandemic. Miss those checks. I do. Do y'all? Well, you weren't getting those, Baba. You're Gucci. Y'all good. Y'all wasn't getting those. But nah. And once I started getting that money and saving it up, I spent half of that right on a lawyer. 5 grand. Thanks PUA, thanks government for helping me be able to afford a lawyer. Your son didn't give me that money. Y'all didn't give me that money. Just little things. Subtle. You have an opinion about everybody. I have opinions about everybody, but I'm not afraid to go and tell that person. I told you in those text messages, you're scary too. No. And if we was in person together, if you needed me to tell you to your face, I would have. You don't ever want to see me in person. Yo. You said you were nice, Chardonnay. I don't think so. I don't think that about you, Baba, either. What I really think about you, what I truly feel, is that you are a disturbed person. You truly are. It just takes somebody to be really fucked up to do what you and your son have done to me for the past 9 months. And then be in my apartment with a child that, if at any point I really just snapped underneath the pressure, wouldn't be here. I could have miscarried. I could have killed myself. And I remember plenty of times talking with my aunt where my aunt was like, you just remember. You remember. You go be a bigger person. You go show them mercy. You apologize. You do what you need to do so that your personal growth isn't stunted, so that who you are as a woman isn't sacrificed to this machine. this what is this? What are y'all? Hurt people, but I didn't even hurt y'all the way that you guys have been the way that you guys had been crying about. Y'all have hurt me in such a way that sometimes I just I get a headache from it. Sometimes I'm just triggered. Your actual name, not going to say it, but I can see just forms of it. So, for example, my name is Chardonnay. My nickname is Char. I can see your name or I can see your nickname and it disturbs me. The city that I live in, the major developer, shares the same last name as you. Shares the same it's your family's last name. And I see it everywhere around this city. Triggered. When I first came out here, everybody's got a Challenger. I was sick. When I see, and I think you own a Toyota, I think it's a RAV, whatever vehicle make, whatever model. I see the model of your vehicle and it genuinely disturbs me. I hadn't eaten meatloaf until my daughter was born, because despite it being one of my favorite like comfort foods, I just associated it with you so heavily. And when I was in that hospital room, I said, I've got to go and take my power back. That's why I invited your son there. He wasn't even going to be there. But I knew, having my daughter, before I had her, I was gearing up to take my power back from this situation. And I'm about to wrap this up because I really want to finish my Kool-Aid and have a snack and go to sleep. But every step I make after I had my daughter, before I had my daughter, was preparing me to let go. In my story, I shared my meditation that I get from my friend Chris. Shout out to you, Chris. And it talks about letting go. Having the ability to let go, to go deal with this in therapy, to go deal with this through groups, to go deal with this through just crying, journaling, coloring, walking. It's going to help me obtain the freedom that you'll never have because you're too scared. For the rest of your life, everyone else will be the problem and you will be enslaved to being a victim. You will never truly experience the euphoria, the growth, the joy of being able to get on with your life. You're still stuck. In fact, maybe that's why it was so easy for you to bond with my ex-abuser, with my son's father. My son's father is still heavily stuck in the past. That's where you are stuck too. That's why you look like you're always in perpetual misery. You cannot get past the past. You cannot let go of anything. Talking about you've given me so many passes. You didn't give no nah. And if your son had decided not to stay with me after I had taken money from y'all, you would have at that point in time, definitely, for sure, you would have took me to court then. You would have filed charges then. You would have dragged me and did everything in your power then. Only because of this. And I mean, hey, that's love for your son there. My son loves this girl. He's not going to leave her. So we can't press charges against her. It was me leaving your son that triggered you to be like, great, perfect. Got him, boys. Let's go get her. Dog. Y'all, pray. That's what I have to do for y'all. Pray for y'all. Not even on no like holier than thou. Like y'all, like, I mean, genuinely. That's also the only way that I'd be able to do all of this. That's how I stopped having nightmares about y'all. Praying. Begging God, please God, let me go to sleep. Stop it, please, stop it. You'll never fucking know that. You will never know that. I had to forgive y'all months ago. And then keep working on that. Keep staying in that forgiveness. Despite every time I turn around, y'all doing some dumb. Fucked up. Really fucked up. Let me finish with this. Baba Yaga is actually not the boogeyman. Baba Yaga is a supernatural being. She's some like Russian folklore, blase blah. Baba Yaga is supposed to be a woman of the forest. Baba Yaga is duality. A figure associated with being a wicked witch, primarily, but also a fairy godmother. There's so many sides to people. And when I read that, when I just do research, I don't know, just think about stuff. Damn, I don't know. Like, we could never be the same because I just have time to invest into other things besides hating life and hating people. Besides negativity. God, the universe, is always speaking to me. I just swear to God, it's just the way that it is. And when I read that, I had to also come to terms with that, the fact that I don't want to be judged. I want to be actually given authentic second chances. Not even second chances, because you never know. It could be the second, third, fourth. People make mistakes. People fuck up. Damn. That's life. Imagine really only ever being given a second chance in life. Only ever being given a second opportunity to make something right. That's not reality. That's not how the world works. It's just not. It just ain't real. The amount of chances that my mom had to be given by me, the amount of chances that I've had to be given by people in my family. I've talked shit about my family plenty of times. I'm critical of other people and myself. through this process, I've also learned, like, you know, I have to forgive myself, give myself chances so that I can be less judgmental and critical of other people. Even if at times it's warranted. And sometimes it's like, in your judgment, if you really feel a certain type of way about somebody and you have given them all these chances in the world, but they really don't change, you just move on. That's also why I cannot be you. I've sat around you while you talk nonstop negatively about certain people over and over and over again. And after a while, it gets old. You're not a victim. You're an active participant in your misery. That's why I don't talk to my mom no more. That's why I don't associate with her like that. That's why for the most part, it's like, love you, Moose. Thanks for bringing me to life. But I don't owe her my life. I've tried everything I can possibly fathom to have a relationship with her. You want to choose drugs and this type of lifestyle and these type of people over your own children? That's okay. But I can't continue to cry about it for the rest of my life. So what can I do? Move on. I can forgive her for, I can understand where she's coming as an addict, because I'm a kleptomaniac. If I don't keep my shit in check, I'll be out here picking up the stupidest shit. It could be thousands of dollars from one person, and it could be a chapstick from fucking CVS. Don't matter. That's just my dumbass twist. Now that I've come to comprehend and understand that a lot more, I have empathy for my mother, but I also have the understanding that I do not need to continue to have her in my life if she's causing problems in my life. Just like I don't need to continue to hold on to these feelings that I have towards you. Sure, you'll be a part of my children's lives, but you're not a part of mine. Because as I said, I feel like you're an insidious force. Could you change? Who knows? Maybe this is, hey, because this is all just off the top of my head, but isn't it funny how despite all the fucked up shit over these 9 months, I have to extend the olive branch? Now I've got to give you a chance because I could be, I could be a dick. I could be a thorn in your side, causing you problems and your son problems over being involved in this child's life. That's me authentically. I am authentically giving a second chance, and I had that opportunity today just in what you might think is a small act of you being in my freaking apartment, my space, my energy. Duality. I know that there's more to you than you just being a wicked witch. I'm going to continue to do what's right for me and my mental health and my children. But I'm also going to be the type of person that I genuinely know that I am. I'm loving. I'm compassionate. I'm forgiving. I'm the type of person that despite, I don't want my children to have to deal with issues of addiction. I don't want that. But outside of that, I am the type of person that I want my children to be. I would, if my children were in this situation, I would want my children to be big enough to turn the other cheek. Because what happens when you're so bitter, when you're so resentful, nobody wants to be around you. Baba, I hope that every time you pick up my children, because they do look like me, they look way more like me than they do your son at all. When you hold my daughter, I named her Shay because I felt like after all these months of you and your family trying to bury me and erase me, I named her Shay because that was my nickname with you guys. But that's not my true nickname. My true nickname is Shar. My family nobody calls me Shay. Ask your son. I remember before when we were moving into that house, he was like, I feel like I should be calling you Shar now. That's what your family calls you. You guys don't know me past Shay. And that was the nickname I was given living in this city. The same city that I had to return to, that ultimately, in so many ways, has saved my life. When you hold Shay, when you have to say her name, it will always trigger that secondary thought, that was her name. Her as in me. And I just want you to be reminded through both of my children. I want you to be reminded all of the time how I, despite everything, did what was right and what was in their best interest. No. The way I feel about you, I don't really want my children around you. You aren't fundamental to their life. I am their mother. I am. But because of your son and his attachment to you, you'll always be right around the corner somewhere to assist to be a part of their lives. And through all of this, I've had to get past that and be okay with it. So, with that, I don't have anything else to say.